Andorra, we're approaching, I think, Maggie, as you just said it, step out for a minute, the 10th anniversary of our relationship with Andorra. And we went through, Luis, who's sitting right here, went through a whole list of projects that we've done over that period. It's amazing, dozens, I think, projects. So, but I'm really looking forward to getting an update.
Probably we should share with them because I am pretty sure that they don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, many of them predate Jordi and Vanessa and Aurora. So yeah, we should share that whole list at some point. Maybe we'll do that over the summit and have a kind of a retrospective. But anyway, turn it over to the Andorra team.
Thank you very much, Kent. Let me share my screen. Let me put that in presentation mode. I don't know if you can see the presentation right now.
Looks good. No. It's now good.
There we go.
Okay, so good morning, bon dia, Shabbat Shalom, Ni hao, Guten Morgen, Buenos dias, Egunon. I hope you're fine. Today we're gonna talk about this Canto-Scale Living Lab, about sustainable communities. And what we are going to do is my colleagues here, Vanessa, Aurora, Jan, and Mark, they will introduce some of the things that we're doing in Andorra. And what we are going to explain is first, Vanessa will show you the role that Andorra Research and Innovation has. And probably you don't know, or probably you know, that Andorra Research and Innovation is the foundation that hosts the City Science Lab in Andorra. Then Aurora will introduce us to the Living Lab, and then Jan, we have a project with the MIT about food waste. He's going to show us how things are going in this part of the research, and also we're going to talk about this and the sensory, and this will be Mark. So I'm going to pass the floor to Vanessa, and you just let me know how you want me to pass the slides, because I think that you don't have the control. So this is the reason why. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jordi. Well, first of all, I know that there are new members here, and for us, it's an opportunity to explain a little bit more in depth, but fast. We promise what is Andorra Research and Innovation. This is a private foundation, but in the public sector, whose mission is to generate knowledge and develop innovation solutions that will enable it to respond to the current and future challenges. This is like our first objective. But our activity is developed also in Andorra, but we like to be connected with other international environments where could be held as foundations, or also other institutions, or also universities. And for us, it's really important because Andorra is a small country and we have 80,000 inhabitants. So as more we are connected, the better for us. So Jordi, you can continue with the next, please. Here, there are some data really fast in order to you have an approach of what is Andorra Research and Innovation. We are managing a 2.6 million euros budget, more or less. By the moment, we have not access to funding from Europe or public programs, but we have other kind of incomes, some of them mainly from the public sector. We are working nowadays, we are a team of 45 people, but in summer, what happens is that we are promoting talent, and we also increase this number to more or less 53 people, because we like to host students from schools or also from universities, in order that, for example, here we have connected Duna. And for us, it's really important to do this because it's also one of our objectives. We are working divided in 4 areas of knowledge and 2 transfer vectors that later I will go more in depth. Nowadays, we have 149 projects activated. That means that are in different stages of development. Some of them are in the initial stage, and some of them are mostly going to the postmortem that we are now doing an exercise more in deep inside Andorra Research and Innovation in order to put trying to implement a PMO, but little by little we are achieving it. So you can go to the next also if you want. Here there are the different axes where we are working. We are working well, in reality, we are a really multidisciplinary team. This is one point that I would like to highlight, because even though we work on that kind of areas of knowledge, we work combining our knowledge to develop the projects. But there are mountain, sustainability, society. Here inside society, there are history, politics, and sociology, because for us it's really important also to have data and to know what is happening in our population. Also, we have technology, and then the two transversal vectors that we say is classroom, try to get all the knowledge that we are developing and give the possibility to schools and other partners here in Andorra to connect to this knowledge. And the innovation agency. So we work like that, and trying to provide innovative solutions and trying to contribute to the development also of the economical diversification of our country, because for us it's also important to go from the research till the final user. And so also we are developing tech transfer processes and so on. And you can continue. Only an image. That means that we try to face different challenges. Those are the areas of knowledge where we can divide our project. There are a lot, but some of them are really interconnected. But that means that for Andorra, our foundation gives a lot of information and data and can somehow to help the decisions that are taken by the public sector, and also to orient the private sector to go further. So this is more or less one image. And as you know, we always say that if you walk alone, you go faster, but if you go with a team, you go farther, or something like that. But in reality, that means that if you see this graphic, the pink thing means that are the only projects that we do by ourselves only, without collaborations. But all the others are collaborating with different institutions, some from Andorra, some from outside, abroad. And also, we like, as later Aurora will explain, we always try to pay attention that balancing our collaborations. What I mean is working with public sector institutions related with academia and public and private, and also with the citizens, because it's how we are in reality. We are understanding that we can success or try to success to face all those challenges that I have explained before. So we can continue, Jordi, I think, with the other.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Vanessa. So Vanessa gives a kind of a broad overview of the projects that are, I think that she can talk about maybe for 3 days straight about the different projects and the different initiatives. But now Aurora will continue about a specific point of view that we have in our country, in our lab. It's Andorra is a small country, and we can convert, or we can have a living lab in the countryside. So Aurora, please, can you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jordi, and welcome to everyone. So yeah, one of the main projects that we have in Andorra Research and Innovation is Andorra Living Lab. So it's been a lot of years that we have been talking about living labs, Andorra, but in 2022, we decided to be certified by ENOL, the European Network of Living Labs, that it's a network that It's around 300 different living labs around the world. And we are certified as the first living lab at a country scale. As Jordi mentioned, Andorra is a small country. We just have 400 square kilometers. So maybe it's more like in a village in compare with another countries, but we have also a lot of opportunities here. So Andorra Living Lab, here you can scan the code and you can access to our website that we are publishing different content and different projects that we have nowadays. But this project is like an umbrella that we have related with other projects. As Vanessa mentioned, Jordi, you can go to the next slide. So in the Andorra Living Lab, we are working in a quadruple helix model where involves public sector, private sector, academia, and the citizens, society. And then we have in the middle, the user. So we are really user-centric, and we are working for the different challenges that we have as a society. Nowadays, we have a lot of projects related with sustainability and also related with sports and health, because here Andorra is in a mountain country and we have more than 100 kilometers of ski slopes. So we have a lot of cyclists professionals living here. So there's a lot of startups and a lot of projects that they are coming to us instead to try to develop these solutions here, and we are helping them with all the process. So can you go to the next slide, Jordi? So Andorra is a really innovative country. Why? We are really agile because we are small. We have a lot of connections with the different actors that are in Andorra, and we are a public and private foundation, so we can access to the different actors that we have. So we have proximity between the key partners. Also, we have the transversal support from the public and private sector, and we are really agile about developing pilot projects where startups or entrepreneurs can test their technologies here in our country. And 1 year ago, since 1 year ago, we have the sandbox regulation framework. So this is also a really good tool where we can help the startups and we can test their technologies about some of the technologies that are not regulated nowadays. So this is a really competitive tool as a country that we are trying to maximize their possibilities. The next slide, Jordi. Some examples that we have. In a few minutes, also Jan and Mark will tell you more projects related with MIT that also can be involved with an Andorra Living Lab umbrella. But some of these startups that we have nowadays, one is OnaLabs. OnaLabs is a medical device that can improve the sports performance. So with this, they are just 1 week ago, they are in the market. So they are also from Barça Group. So they are a really good team, and we are helping them trying to develop all the solutions, all the technical points that are in the startup. So we are connecting them with the different actors that we have in the country. For example, the ministers of sports, helping them that the main sport tips that we have here in the country, they are testing these technologies. Another one is EVIX. EVIX has a solution, it's a airbag where the cyclist put here in the helmet. So they are in the phase of developing the technology. So they are trying to develop all the algorithms. So we are also helping them. Another point that it's one of our main strategic projects nowadays is trying to develop innovation area here in Andorra. This will be such a honor as such a really good project because we'll connect all the different projects that have been happening in all our country in one main place. That's why we have a partner with IASP, the International Association of Technology Park, trying to understand which are the different models that are nowadays in the different countries and try to adapt a real proposal to be developed here in our country. Next slide. So why this is a really strategic project for us? Because can connect these different areas that we said in the quadruple helix model, and also with a physical assets and economical assets, and also the network. So hopefully in the next months we will have a next steps for this project, but we are really happy to develop this project. Also, this project connects research and academia that are the main point for us, the technology transfer that nowadays we are really improving in our foundation, and adding all the value proposition that the different actors can help us to try to develop all the project. We are just looking at different possibilities that we have nowadays that can connect different points. For example, just university and industry, university, industry and government, and we would like to develop more of the last one project that connects also all the environment and all the quadruple helix that we have here in the country. The next slide, sorry. So Jan now will explain you a little bit one of the main projects that we are developing nowadays with MIT.
Yeah, okay, I'll just jump in. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to focus a bit on food waste on the country. So Jordi, if you can move forward. As a little bit of background and context, so why did we decide to go with food waste? Andorra is a signatory of the Paris Agreement. So in this case, I bet all of you are familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals. And in this case, Andorra actually approved a circular economy law 2 years ago. This circular economy law has a circular economy strategy, and this strategy embeds many circular economy principles, in which some of them are related to food waste. In this case, we decided that to capitalize on this and to follow up with this, it would be interesting to do something related to food waste, not by actually taking one of the actions and putting it forward ourselves, but to help out on the application of this circular economy strategy. And this relates exactly to the needs of the national commitments, in this case the SDGs, right? So we decided to go with the creation of a food waste model that might be able to provide some insightful information about food waste in the country, because since nowadays we don't have any sort of tool like this in terms of people doesn't really know what happens with food waste in the country. So we wanted to share a bit of this and maybe learn and try to maybe use it as a basis for public policy. If you can move on. Okay, perfect. Okay, food waste management in Andorra. Don't be scared. I know there's a lot of stuff on this slide, but I'll be quick. So what happens in Andorra? We don't have recorded data on food waste. We just have recorded data on organic matter, and this data is provided by the Ministry of Environment of Andorra. However, most of the data we have on organic matter that actually interests us comes from selective recovery of organic matter and expired food coming from supermarkets, right? On the one hand, we have data on expired food. Here we have data about solid waste and liquid waste. Solid waste goes to Cetrasa, which is an energy recovery management plan, where we send our waste. All of this organic matter is grinded and mixed together with other materials, and then later on it's used to create energy that it's directly injected into the grid. And then we've got liquid waste. And in terms of liquid waste, there's 4 waste treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, and depending on the components of this liquid waste, it's analyzed and incorporated into these plants. Then we have data from selective recovery of organic matter, which is the data we mostly use because it's better put together. In this case, we have some data from compulsory grocery stores. That means that they are obligated by law to actually grab and process all of these organic matter and have it recovered to properly dispose of it. And then we have some selective recovery of organic matter in a voluntary basis. So there's a network, and certain the Ministry of Environment puts forward a network that where you can apply and have some organic matter recovered. And here we have data from schools, restaurants, hotels, and other actors. And all of these food waste goes to a composting plant, which is in La Seu d'Urgell, which is one of the villages that it's right across or right on the border with Andorra. We don't have further tracking of this compost in this case, but we know that this compost is not going back to Andorra. So there's opportunities here for sure. And this is what we know from now until now. Here's a little bit of a diagram of what I just explained. As you can see, there's from producer to the wastewater treatment plant with only non-alcoholic liquids, and all the others they are mixed on Cetrasa, which is the energy recovery plant. We can move on. Okay, so what are we doing with this data? The idea or the general idea of this project is right now at this point, what we have done is we have recovered a lot of data from the Ministry of Environment. We have cleaned it up. We have moved it up and down. We have worked a lot on this, and we have actually, with the help of our friends in the Media Lab, we have been able to geolocate this data. So we already have a small visual of what this can look like. On the orange side, you see the orange arrows. That's organic matter that is recovered by selective recovery. And as I mentioned, everything goes to the compost plant in La Seu d'Urgell. And then we've got data on expired liquids and expired solid food also. And we can see that on red and in blue also. So why is this helpful, right? The idea here is that this is not something that has been done in the country, obviously. So it would be great to have this visual or this general visual of being able to incorporate and correlate this data to see seasonality, to provide both us and the ministry with new insights in terms of if we want to add some stuff to the model, if we want to maybe correlate it with other data that could discover other things and could discover other basis for public policy. And this would be a back and forth, right? It would be something that it would be a model that it would be open to get more information and to slowly build something up and maybe connect it with other projects like the one that Mark will explain in the future, right? And this is our ambition in terms of this. The general idea is to inform, educate, and create a tool that can be useful in the future and can be interesting, right? And here I wanted to actually mention that if this resonates with you and you think you can give us a hand with this, or you want to collaborate with us, obviously don't hesitate. We're here for this, and it would be great to collaborate with all of you. And if you have any questions, for sure, just ask them at the end of the presentation, and we will be able to answer them.
Thank you, Jan. So just me give you a small hint of the approach that we are giving here. Vanessa showed us the way that how Andorra Research Innovation is working, and Aurora told us also about this umbrella, the Living Lab. And then now we are zooming in the specific projects that are related to MIT. And as Jan said, I think it's very important that if there are any projects here or any ideas here that you think that could be useful to collaborate, please feel free. So now it's the turn of Mark that will introduce us about this extended sensoring. This is a very interesting project. I think it's kind of a state of the art. And please, Mark, you have the floor.
Well, hello to everybody, and thank you very much to Jordi and all people who are listening. And well, as Jordi said, we are going to talk about the Extended Sensoring Project to generate holistic insights about the Biosphere Reserve and also to generate holistic knowledge to Andorra. To properly understand this project, I will make a little bit of background of our organization. As Vanessa already stated, at Andorra Research Innovation, we are working in many different fields of knowledge or science or innovation. And therefore, at our scale, obviously, we are generating a remarkable quantity of data produced, but also we have access to other data sources from other institutions of Andorra. Many years ago, we were separated in different research groups, and this led to not have the data as much or as many centralized as we would like. And we thought that it would be very interesting to get all this data and centralize all this data to make other studies. I think the investigations that we are currently doing in Andorra Research Innovation, they are very, very interesting, but nowadays we are only answering very specific questions to some specific problems or studies. And as I already said, the aim of this project is to take a step back and try to correlate different types of data and non-traditional data also to have a more general and holistic comprehension about our particular terrain, starting by the Andorra Reserva la Biosfera, the Biosphere Reserve, and continuing to scale it if it's possible to all the terrain. Andorra now, we also, as a lot of parts of the world, we are facing several challenges. And we think that this larger comprehension would help a lot in many different sectors here in Andorra. That's why we have made a central inventory of what we have. In this image, there is mostly all the data that we have or we have access to, but also there are other data funds. We have divided the inventory in three main parts. First of all, we have the all-known traditional sensors. We have very interesting data, such as what we are doing in the food waste project, but also we have meteorological stations data. We have data from characterization data about our lakes, about our terrain. We also have maps. We have also other studies. We also have very interesting data about, for example, the mobility, the mobility that goes on in Andorra of vehicles. And also we have data about tourists, among other types of data. And also we think in working on some different approach, a non-traditional approach, and also trying to integrate some other type of data that we can obtain from qualitative sensors, like could be having more information about the knowledge that have some experts on the field, for example, like can be forest rangers or firefighters or other experts, but also we have a very detailed count of all the natural hazards that we have here in Andorra, for example, like avalanches, earthquakes, all these things. And if you can pass the slide, please, Jordi. I think I have already explained a little bit the main concept of the project, but now I'm going to go in more depth in order to understand the project. As I already said, we want to merge and correlate all this data, and I think we are facing a very big challenge because, for example, it's not obvious to work with data like a traditional sensor and combine it with the opinion of a firefighter, for example, or combining it with some bioindicators. Sorry, I forgot talking about bioindicators. It was the other part of our sensor in inventory. We also plan to analyze. We have data from, for example, thank you, sorry, from butterflies and bird populations and all of their species, their counting. But also we have other type of data, like for example mushrooms and fungi population. And I think it's as what I was saying. I think it will be. It will be a challenge to merge and work with all different types of data and try to give more knowledge and more information to our society. I think the way we want to divide, the way we will pass this knowledge, because we think it's very important to arrive to the traditional research groups or enterprises or rulers, for example. But we also think it's very interesting that all the population or all the citizens here in Andorra have access to this data, and if we will try to implicate them or to make them participate from this project in different ways. We have thought in a first step to work in specific pilot tests, different specific pilot tests that we have to define. But for example, we were thinking to work with schools that we are already working and to do some approach in this way. Also, we wanted to like passing this knowledge to the society, but in a non-traditional way. For example, it could be an exposition or by painting all this data or all this information in a more, how do I would say it, in a more easy way or more interesting way for people that's not inside all these research groups. And finally, I think I don't know if we will have time to do it in this project, but we are a little bit dreamers, and we think that it could be very interesting in the future to try to create an agent-based model or some type of modeling in order to make predictive and make predictions about what will happen if we are affecting one type of all the data sources. And why this image? I'm using this image is because we are planning to do all the project in very little steps in order to merge the data in very slowly in order to have good results and to not crash all the project. And I think that's all because we are in a first step of the project. And as Jan already said, I think it would be very interesting if some of your teams want to collaborate or want to do something related. It would be fantastic and very interesting.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. I think it looks interesting, isn't it? So now there is more, and we're going to talk a little bit about the summit and the co-design workshops. I don't know if it's Aurora or Vanessa, maybe who will take the floor, but
yes,
feel free.
No, we can start like well, I will introduce what is going to happen soon. As all of you, I suppose you already know, and also Ken has explained it at the first beginning. For us, it's it's an opportunity to host and to invite all of you to our country. I know that the last time that you came, the network, that came here, it was if I'm not wrong, 8 years ago or less. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was like that. From then to now, we have learned a lot of things. We have done different iterations of what is innovation here in Andorra. What does it mean? Who has to promote it or not? It has been a nice roadmap. But now, 10 years later, what we want to know is to to make an overview of what Media Lab means for us and how Andorra can continue developing those kind of solutions all together now, because the network has grown a lot. And then what is the impact in our communities. So you are invited to this City Science Summit in Andorra. It's going to be, the name is Transformational Communities, because all of us know that we are facing different challenges, and sometimes maybe harder than some years ago. Climate challenges, population challenges, pandemics, a lot of things that if we can learn one of each other's and we can face with using the knowledge and the technology and all the research that we are at the end we are doing all together, it's going to be much better, no? So you are invited. We wait for you. If Jordi, you can continue with the next slide, please. We wait for you from 14th till 17th of October. And this is more or less, well, by the moment, this is a zoom out agenda, but it's only to introduce that we are going to have two really hard work days. That is going to be on 15th and 16th. The day of arrival is the 14th. On Tuesday, what we are going to do is to start the evening, the event with a main stage programming. That all of this, it's now we are working also with all the Media Lab team, with Maggie and so on, because we are now going more in detail, and as soon as possible we are going to share with you exactly the agenda, and we will open the registration procedures and everything. But of course, if you have any doubt, we can talk later. So the first day is going to be like this. We are going to do this main stage with this kind of retrospective of what has happened during those 10 years, but not only for Andorra, also for all of you, and also what has been the motivation that led you go inside the network and so on. So later we will do a networking lunch, and we will start with all those workshops that later we will talk about them. We have we are preparing a gala dinner for the first day, a gala dinner and some surprises. So it's going to, we are not going to make spoilers now, so it's okay. And later, well, the second day, we will continue with this kind of workshops that later we talk more in depth, the network lunch, and the third round of workshops. So what we want is that also stakeholders from Andorra will join us. They will join, and they will all together, we can merge and we can discover what is they are to share knowledge and to go further on with the approaches, and it's going to be nice. And the final day, we are organizing some activities for you, because if you travel to Andorra and you don't know what, you don't get a little bit of our country, then it's not worth it. Or yes, it's worth it also, but not so much. And we are preparing three kind of activities. One is focused on adventure, another is more cultural, and the third is for relax. So you will choose, and we will explain it more in depth also. And then that's it by the moment, yes? And Aurora, if you want, can continue with.
Yeah, and Maggie, if you want to add also here some of the points, we are designing the different workshops that we will have. The first one will be more related with metrics and systems, the second one related with tools, and the third related with priorities and the future collaborations. So we have already in the agenda the 2 days co-designed workshops that will be in June 25 and July 25 also. Maggie, I don't know if you want to add some point here.
Yeah, that sounds great, Aurora. So, our intention, like last year, is to have us all working together on these. So if you're a researcher in the City Science Network and you want to be a part of this, join us, absolutely. So join us for these 2 meetings, like Aurora mentioned, in June and July. We'll be framing the workshop, what's important to you in your country, what we should be thinking about and considering, and also kind of going through the workshop mechanisms for these days in anticipation of the summit. So please join us, message us if you are interested in attending, and we'll add you to the calendar invites. And we've been reaching out to the network directors as well to get folks involved. But this last year, I think, was one of the highest rated parts of our summit was the workshops that we all led, you all led together. So it's a really essential part of the way that this network of folks works. So we'd love to have your voice.
Great, thank you very much, Maggie. So I think it's time for some Q&A. So I think that I'm gonna stop sharing because otherwise I don't think we will be able to see who's asking or so. Oops. Thank you. So anyone, you know, if you want to ask any questions, just please raise your hand and we'll give you the floor.
Well, maybe I'll start, and just to point out that I think Adela's on the call here from the Basque Culinary Center. So we have a number of food projects we've engaged in here. I really like the project. We just a week or two ago, last week was it? I think 2 weeks ago. We had Adela in town, plus an Echo, who is a Michelin star chef, talking about reinventing hospital food and doing all kinds of interesting studies related to gastronomy. One idea that we had was a mobile gastronomy lab or a food lab truck to do experiments about more sustainable, healthy, delicious food that could be studied using like a food lab truck that could collect data about the choices that people make and enjoyment of the food and the whole sort of ecosystem of local farmers, et cetera. And I'd love to maybe connect Adela with the project in Andorra. That would be interesting. And Adela, I wonder if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, definitely. Thank you very much, Kent. Definitely, just memories of those days, because it was really interesting to be there and to share our knowledge on food. And I loved when you presented. I love that you said you are dreamers. I love that. And I also love something that Eneko, who is a very, very it's a 3 Michelin star restaurant chef, and the Basque Culinary, and also myself, we do have, and I think all of you pointed out education, and I think these food lab track that we are thrilled with the idea. Raising awareness could be absolutely so important in food waste. So definitely, I would love to be part of whatever you are in and whatever the team wants me to be. So definitely, it's so interesting to see everything that you are working on food waste.
And that connects with Jason, because I think, Jason, you should explain a little bit the idea of connecting this with the schools. I don't know, like super briefly, but Jason is working with Jordi and I mean the Andorra team. So I don't know if Jason, you can just.
Yes, no, thank you so much, and nice to meet you, Adela. It's going to be a pleasure to go more in depth what you are doing and how we can also share not only the pilot of food waste, but also how with Andorra the gastronomy is connected with the culture and values. And also we are working on that, not from Andorra Research and Innovation, but we are contributing also with Andorra Tourism and others. that are trying to don't lose the roots and also to innovate, but using local products and so on. Yes, we don't know Eneco. It's I mean, I know who is him, so it's so wonderful that you are doing things on that way, because yes, Michelin stars and so on has to be connected also with the product and not the toxicity. I mean, not the pesticides, and they have a commitment also with the environment, no? And for us, it's really nice to, at least why not make a brainstorming on everything and try to find synergies. So nice to know.
That is fantastic, because we all have this feeling and this these insights that gastronomy is much more than food. So that's why we say, and we call this gastronomy and beyond, because it's sustainability, it's awareness, it's nutrition, it's health, it's aging, it's so, as you mentioned, it would be fantastic to see, and definitely it is innovation. So we say in Basque Culinary Center, we have a vision of gastronomy 360 degrees. It's product, it's the farmers, so it is terroir. So I definitely think we can definitely do many things.
Great. I think Jason wanted to say a word about the food waste that we are working together. So Jason, please go ahead.
Well, I did want to say I had a wonderful chat with Adela and Eneco when she was at the Media Lab. And I think there's so much overlap in our ability to engage with young people. I think we come to the conclusion that if you want to change something in the world, you can do it in a generation. And so like all of the city science labs, around the world have the same opportunity. And I think the closer we can get to engaging with, in Andorra, we focused on the schools, but it doesn't even have to be through schools. It's just like focusing on the next generation. And that's just something that's really important to us. And I just look forward to helping facilitate these kinds of projects in the future.
Good. Thank you, Jason. So anyone else, any questions, any comments, any invitations to a good 3-star Michelin restaurants?
Not that, but I would like to, I have a curiosity. I would like to ask to the Andorra team, because you are doing great investigation. Congratulations about all the projects that are going on. And at the same time, I also can perceive that you are doing very specific things with specific implementation. Maybe I would like to ask about what do you think is the time to market of the results you are developing? Do you feel that you are working on short-term, medium-term, long-term solutions? Are you happy with that, or would you like to make them longer or shorter, or do you have any?
Okay, no, nice. This question is fantastic, because this is one of the approaches that now we are trying to organize better inside. On one hand, we have research that it's not doesn't have the aim to go to market. Is this kind of research that for us is really important in order to contribute to develop our community, but not finding or trying to, is more related with a knowledge of the biodiversity or maybe historical research and these kind of things. But now we are trying to connect more and more this with the next steps. Some of them it's impossible and we don't want it. And the ones that are eligible to at least to analyze them, if it is possible, those kind of research or projects or pilots to go to the next steps, now we are working on this. And because we have one example of, because we created a spin-off, a team that was working with us created a spin-off. Is the first spin-off created in Andorra. if we understand it like a startup created from a public group of research or university. It has been the first, but now we are almost going to close the first round of investors, foreigner investors, because by the moment is 100% from Andorra Research Innovation. And it has not easy at all for the team that has promoted or the entrepreneurs, because it was nothing written before. So it has been the first example. Now we are going to analyze the lessons and then to create like a roadmap of how Andorra Research and Innovation can create a spin-off and to try to be an example for others. But as our ecosystem was not mature at all, it has not been easy. I think that now we are more opening connections with Eurecat and other kind of institutions that they are really expert on it, trying to build our O3 here in Andorra, the Office of Technology Transfer, the first, that is something that for Andorra Research and Innovation also is like an innovation pilot for ourselves. If we are able to consolidate it and to help others, we will be more able to then create solutions to market. But we are on that. I think that next year we will be in 2025 starting to implement the O3 because now we have one patent that must to go to market, and then it's a pilot. We have agreed with with entrepreneurs also that all together we are going to learn how to do it from Andorra. But no, it's not, we have an ecosystem not so mature. Sorry, by the moment. I don't know if I am answering more what you wanted to know, but.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you, Vanessa. I think Marcus has a question too.
Yeah.
So.
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much for the presentation. I have just one quick question. You're mentioning that the waste to energy project that is happening. Is that correct? Waste to energy? And what is the two questions I have are around a pilot project that's being started here in Boston, where we have a massive problem with rats associated with food waste being left in garbage cans. So what this new company is proposing is taking tons of food waste from restaurants and growing pig farms on it. And the value proposition there is that the protein chain is maintained very high in that. So you're not kind of taking the food waste and degrading its value proposition in the kind of like food ecosystem. And I just thought it was a very interesting metric that they're using to create the financial argument around why this product, this meat, is so much more valuable than pork grown or fed other food stuffs. So I just thought that was an interesting. And the flip side is, what is the technology you're using to go from waste to energy? Is it burning it? Is it biodigesting it? Is it, like what is that? Because there's a lot of controversy around the different strategies.
Yes, I can answer that. So first, thank you for your question, Marcus. Very interesting. In terms of food waste, when we relate food waste to energy, in this case, it's burning it, because in our case, the government of Andorra and Andorra has a waste disposal. I'm hearing myself doubled. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So Andorra has a waste disposal plan, and what they do there is they mix all of these different types of organic matter and other types of biologic waste, and what happens is they burn it, and they create heat from this, and they connect it to the grid, and from this obviously it creates electricity. However, I don't think the Andorran government has gone into the debate of what energy means in terms of if it means more energy for the human body or if it means more energy for communities in this case. What I can answer is that in our case, we're talking about this. However, we are open to explore other types of definitions in terms of this, and it could definitely evolve on this way. The same way we're doing or we're having this holistic view on the sensor thing, maybe we could have a more holistic view in the food waste stuff also.
Yeah, I mean that's something that they're dealing with in Andorra, not Andorra, in Donosti as well, right? Because right next to one of the sites is a garbage processing plant, and you know it's an interesting controversy of how to deal with waste and food waste, and what's the best use of it after it's kind of not eaten.
Yeah, sort of what we're trying to do is trying to bring this forward, because we're not at this point. We're still trying to figure out we're trying to have a general view of food waste in the country still. As in, we're trying to have a general visualization of all of the intricacies of the food waste system in the country. Maybe from here, we can gain insights in terms of what will be the best management of this food waste and what will be innovative ways of actually maybe trying out stuff and bringing food waste as an important thing in the country. Obviously capitalizing on this strategy I was talking about also before.
Okay, I think it's 4 p.m. And I know that you are, delighted about our talks and our questions and what are those things that we are preparing for you in October. But you should wait till October. So I think it's time. Maggie, please.
Thank you, Jordi. Thank you to everyone on the Andorra team. Really wonderful to have you today and to have you present. In that email we shared the abstract from the Andorra team and their emails too. So if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to them. A couple reminders on dates. So for that summit workshop meetings that we mentioned, this is for the co-creation of the workshops. We're meeting on June 25th and then again on July 25th. We're doing that kind of by direct invitation. So if you're interested, email Aurora, you can email me, or you can also email Maitane. And next month we have a City Science Network talk. It's July 23rd. It's from the City Science Lab at Shanghai. So we'll see you all online for Shanghai in July. And great to see you today. Thank you, Andorra team. Bravo.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Okay.